there is a possibility that this weekend just becomes me binging this series. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and tonight starts the Weekend of Peace. Weekend of Peace is a 48-hour readathon attached to Realmathon. Realmathon is obviously hosted by Covers with Cassidy. I will link all that down below. During this weekend, you get 10 points for every book that you finish. So basically, read a ton of books. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing for the next 48 hours. I'm a little early. I'm not going to start till tonight, but I wanted to start the vlog off and let you know what my first book will be, because it starts kind of late here for me. So I probably will get a book in tonight on sprints, but I don't think I will update you until tomorrow. So I thought, let's kick it off. Let's tell you where I'm gonna start, what my plans are, and then we'll chat more as the weekend goes on Saturday and Sunday. There are only 2 books that I really want to get done during this weekend. One of those is the Mindf series. Just the first book. If I continue and read all 5, I do have all 5, so I might do all 5, but I definitely need to do the first one. The first one is on Timmy's TBR. It was Kelsey's recommendation for me for Timmy's TBR, so that has to get done this weekend. When Kelsey gave it to me, I kind of thought, ooh, perfect for Weekend of Peace. It's like a 3-hour audiobook at normal speed. So that is definitely happening this weekend. The other book that I must get done, because A, I have the FOMO, B, I just really want to read it, and C, for other reasons that I cannot speak of in this vlog, but that you will know of at some point in the future. I need to read A Psalm for the Wild Built, which I do have right here. So this is by Becky Chambers. I know it follows a monk and a robot, and I know so many people who love it. That is the extent of my knowledge on this book. And this is where I'm going to start for A Weekend of Peace. I'm going to read this tonight, and then we'll see where we go. Because like I said, I really only have those 2 books that need to happen. Everything else can just be like where my mood takes me for the weekend. And that's what this vlog is going to be. Me reading a ton of small books and bringing you along for a weekend of fun. I'm on sprints this weekend at one point with Beatrice. I have no idea what else I'm going to get up to, but let's have a fun weekend together, reading a ton of books, getting a ton of points for Team Shadow, and just seeing what happens. So friends, I am currently on sprints with Beatrice for a couple of hours of Saturday sprints, but I haven't really talked to you since I started this vlog, so I need to update you on how it's going. And it is going so well because I've had so many great books. Well, 2, but both of them have been great. I started and finished A Psalm for the Wild Built last night by Becky Chambers, and I ended up giving this 5 stars. This book might have my whole heart. It is so wholesome and so beautifully written and gave me all the feels. Did I have a book cry? Yes, I did. So keep that in mind. But I mean, I cry at everything, but this definitely made me cry over a monk and a robot. So here we are. In this book, we follow Dex. Dex is a monk, and they are kind of like a garden monk, doing things in the garden at the monastery. Dex is feeling kind of unsettled in this life, and decides to go to the person overseeing the monastery and say that they would like to become a tea monk. So Dex goes off to self-teach to become a tea monk. Dex does just that, and they actually become a very famous tea monk in the villages and go around each of the village being a tea monk. And basically what a tea monk does is they meet the people of the village and give them a tea that helps them with what they need. So if you need to rest, the tea will help you rest. If you're having trouble sleeping, the tea will help you sleep, etc., etc. But as this happens, Dex starts to feel that same unsettlement now as a tea monk and decides to go on a journey. They journey into the wilderness and meet a robot called Moose Cap. The robots were made many generations ago to work in factories and actually got their freedom and went into the wilderness, again, many centuries ago. So Dex is actually the first human to see a robot in a very long time. Moosecap is coming closer to the cities because they want to know more about what humans need. The two of them team up, and as they team up, they learn about each other's existence and what each other needs and what each other's life experiences are like and who each other are. It is a really beautiful book of two people. I know that technically one is a robot, but two people, for lack of a better way of describing a robot and a monk, coming together and trying to experience life with each other, and how the two of them come together with very different life experiences and really do strive to understand each other in a really beautiful way. This book was absolutely beautiful. Becky Chambers did a fabulous job. I cannot wait to continue with this series. Unfortunately, I don't have book 2, but I will definitely need to get a copy of it so that I can continue very soon. Then this morning, I did read my second mandatory read for the weekend that I really wanted to get in, which was the first book in the Mindf series. This book follows Lana and Logan. Lana is a serial killer. She had something horrific happen to her and her brother when they were in their late teens, and she is seeking revenge on those that hurt her. And she is systematically killing them. One day at a coffee shop, she meets Logan. Logan comes to her table, leaves his phone number, says, "Call me sometime." She realizes he's an FBI agent. Not only that, but a profiler who was actually one of the profilers on her case. It's not the only case he's working, so he's actually working a couple of serial killer cases, which is important to the plot of this book. They start texting, they start getting to know each other, and things do definitely get smutty. And what this book really is smutty criminal minds, which I didn't know I needed, but I needed. This is not something I knew that I needed or needed in my life and wanted to experience through literature, but I did. I really enjoyed the first book, gave it 4.5 stars. It is so bingeable, and I've already started the second book. So that is what I'm currently reading. I'm one chapter into the second book, and the other serial killers are starting to kind of make an appearance because there's another serial killer that Logan's onto. Logan's onto them. And Lana thinks he's underestimating this serial killer, that this serial killer might come after him. Logan's like, no, he's not that kind of serial killer. And Lana, because she knows the mind of a serial killer, disagrees, but can't tell him that. Obviously he can't know that she's a serial killer. So it's a really interesting push and pull here. There's a really interesting dynamic. There's some really good banter, especially in their early days of texting in this book. The banter was great. I was here for it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm excited to continue into book 2. Will I continue past book 2? There is a possibility that this weekend just becomes me binging this series. There is a pretty strong possibility that that may happen. So I may update you in chunks, because obviously now that we're into sequel territory, there's less that I can tell you, and the books are only 3 hours long. So there's only so much to tell you anyway. If you like Criminal Minds and you like smut, I think you would really enjoy this book. That's what this is. Criminal Minds meets smut. And if your mind is sick and twisted like mine clearly is, because I'm here for it, you may enjoy this as well. So I'm going to get back into this because we are on the first sprint and I want to get into book 2. So that's what I'm going to do. So it is now Saturday night and I have been reading Mindf all day. I have now finished books 2 and book 3, and we'll chat about those really, really quickly. This is exactly like reading a Criminal Minds episode. That's exactly what it feels like. It feels like we're hunting down these serial killers. We're seeing them profile. We're seeing the killer's point of view. It's really interesting in that way. I do want to kind of amend a statement I made though, because I did say it was a smutty Criminal Minds. And really, after the first book, the romance really does take a back seat to the Criminal Minds type feel of this book. The romance is there, but it's certainly not the main focus. It's not even really a 50-50 situation. I think I could count on one hand the amount of smutty scenes there are, and even the ones that are there are barely there. It is really just their relationship without smut and the serial killing type situation happening. That's okay. I'm still really enjoying the book, but I feel like these were kind of marketed as dark romance, and I would not necessarily go that far. They probably are technically dark romance, but they're certainly not what you would expect of a dark romance. They almost lean towards a thriller with a romance subplot. I'm still having a good time though, and I gave both of these 4 stars, but I am going to take a little bit of a break. Because I've been reading these all day, I have read 3 books in this series and I have read them all day. It's now 10 p.m. I need to kind of switch it up. I'm getting a bit fatigued with the story, and it's not the story's fault. The story is actually very, very good. And now we're actually getting into like a cultish perspective that we haven't seen until the end of book 3. So I'm excited to continue that in book 4 and maybe book 5. I don't know how long it goes for. But my brain needs something different. I need to take a break from these characters and this story. I've just been in it all day. So I'm going to switch to 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadband. This is the novella between the first book and the second book of Serpent and the Wings of Night. I read Serpent, I think last month. It wasn't that long ago. I'm pretty sure it was in February, and it was just okay for me. I gave it 3.5 stars, but most people said I should continue and read this novella because it is a fairy tale retelling, and I really needed no other convincing. You tell me it's a fairy tale retelling, I will pretty much guaranteedly pick it up. One of my patrons is also reading it this weekend, so we kind of decided to do a little impromptu buddy read together, and I'm very excited to buddy read it with someone and see if I like this kind of continuation or whatever this is, because I honestly have no idea what characters this is even following, but with a fairy tale twist on the world that I met in Serpent and the Wings of Night. Will I read much of this tonight? Absolutely not. It's 10 o'clock. So I might get a little bit read, but most of this will probably be read tomorrow. But I did want to update you on kind of how I got on today with the Mindf series, and that I was kind of doing a little shift, switching directions and going with a new series. So that book took me a little bit longer than I anticipated it taking me, not because the book wasn't good, because it was, but because I have been really busy today. It is now almost 2 p.m. on Sunday, and I am just finishing 6 Scorched Roses. But I have finished it, and y'all, this book was a delight. It was an absolute delight. It really did blend the Beauty and the Beast retelling with the world that we met in Serpent and the Wings of Night. And we do meet brand new characters. We're in a different part of this kind of world that we met in the first book. We're not near any of the people that we met in the first book or anything that happened during that first book. In this book, we follow Lilith and Vale. Lilith is a human, Vale is a vampire, and they live in this small community that is being kind of terrorized by an illness, a pandemic. So keep that in mind. It's a very small part of this book, the pandemic, but if you're not ready for pandemic literature, it is in there. Lilith is a scientist, and you really do see this woman in STEM, even with the magic around her in this book. Lilith is trying to find a cure for this disease and really does feel like Vale's blood is the key to a cure, and goes to Vale and says, look, I will give you roses. They're like these magical roses. She doesn't really even know where they came from other than that they grow in her yard. And in exchange, you will give me blood. And once a month, I will come, I will get your blood, and you will get a rose. Through this time, they get to know each other. They get to understand each other a little bit, and they do get to kind of fall in love. And we see their love story as well. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling where our vampire is the beast and Lilith is the beauty. And I really did love how it did stick to the kind of outline of Beauty and the Beast while still connecting to the original story. We know what happened at the first bit of Serpent and the Wings of Night, how it ended, which I'm not going to go into. But the outcome of the ending of that book is flowing into this book. And Vale is finding out what's going on there and having to make decisions about that, where he is in this town. I really did like Vale and Lilith a lot, and I really do hope to see them in book 2 of Serpent and the Wings of Night. I was unsure if I wanted to continue Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is really interesting because now I'm like, I definitely want to, in the hopes that some of this kind of bleeds into it even in some small way. I don't know if it does, but I'm kind of hoping it does. But I gave this 5 stars because I really just had a fabulous time with this book. I mean, it's a retelling. We know I love a retelling, and this just proves it, that I really did love this retelling, but I really did enjoy the plotting of this book, even though it was a novella and there's not like tons of plot because obviously it's a very small book. My one critique of the first book was that there was so much world building and not enough time to get to know the characters. And I really feel like this book, because we had all the world building from the first book, we slowed down and really did get to know the characters in this novella. So I think that is also why I liked it so much more than I liked the first book. Anyway, I know so many people are going to be happy that I am now convinced to continue this series because of this novella. So I'm glad that I pleased my friends, and I'm really glad I picked this up. It's going to go into some of my favorite retellings of Beauty and the Beast. So that's exciting. And I think we have time to get one more book done. Now, I have hummed and hawed over what this last book is going to be because I don't know what I really want to do, but there is one thing that just keeps coming into my mind is I left Mindf yesterday because I needed a break, but it has been in the back of my mind going, what happened after the ending of book 3? What is going on? And it's just not leaving me. It's not going away. It's in my head and I can't get it out. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to that series and read book 4 because I'm thinking if I don't read the series this weekend, when am I going to do it? Next week, I'm reading other things that I need to read for different videos, etc. Buddy reads. Like, when am I going to get back to this? And it's in the back of my mind. It's just pestering me in the back of my mind going, what happened? What is going on with the rest of this book? So I'm going to go back to book 4. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get to book 5 in this video because I only have 5 hours left. It's just not going to happen. I will definitely get book 4 done, and then I might just read book 5 tonight after this is over, or tomorrow, worst case scenario. We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises on book 5, but right now I'm going to go start book 4. There is 22 minutes left in a weekend of Peace Talks, and I have just finished Mindf book 4. And I had a great time with this book too, gave it 4 stars, which seems to be kind of where I'm at for the series. But this book was so much more intense than the previous books. Ooh, the tension in this book is just getting higher and higher and higher. We ended on another cliffhanger. I definitely need to read book 5. I might even start it tonight. Worst case scenario, I'm reading it tomorrow. So it won't be in this vlog because obviously Peace Talks is over in 22 minutes. I won't be able to read the whole book in 22 minutes. So I am going to end this one here, but I am definitely going to finish binging this series tonight and into tomorrow, because I am obsessed. I am absolutely obsessed with this series. I'm so glad I picked it up, and I cannot wait to finish it out and see how it wraps up and how this romance kind of survives the end game of this serial killing. Like, I need to know how it ends. I need to know. But I have to say, Weekend of Peace Talks was a huge success. I read 6 books over the weekend, and the lowest rated book was a 4-star. We had 2 5-stars, a 4.5, and 3 4-star reads. Like, it was a very successful weekend, and I found some new favorites. Psalm for the Wild Built, lovely, perfection. 6 Scorched Roses, perfection. And also, Mindf, it's a very different vibe, but like, I'm enjoying it. I'm here for it. I'm having a great time. So like, this weekend was super successful. On top of that, we also earned like a ton of points for Team Shadow. So like, win, 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 all around, all the wins. But it is now the end of the weekend, so I am going to end this vlog here. Let me know how your weekend went. How many books did you read for Peace Talks? Let me know. If you didn't participate in Peace Talks, what did you do this weekend? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.